Right, guys, here we got a story that seems to have gone mostly unnoticed, so I've got to call it out. And in fact, everyone should, because not only is this one of the most deranged things I've seen this week, it's coming from a group who have absolutely no place even commenting on the subject. Obviously, we're once again talking about the stupid jab passports, but this time the idiocy's coming from some environmental modelling group. Yes, an environmental modelling group has done a paper on jab passports because it's not about bloody health, is it? Obviously, Boris said these passports are gone now and all of that, but it appears Big Pharma checks are still clearing because this modelling group has come out of the woodwork pushing for forced jabs through these passports. Now, before you say it, no, the mask has not slipped. They've literally taken it off, screwed it up and threw it away in favour of pushing for open force because I guess they think that's gonna help. Obviously, spoiler alert, it's bloody not gonna do that, you can be sure. In fact, it'll just turn more people not only against the government, but also against the things you're pushing. Now, during this push for forced jabs through passports, they actually admit that the passports do nothing when it comes to stopping any spread, but claim they can be used to force the young into getting the jab. Yes, they actually bloody say that. Of course, I sit here thinking anyone who took part in writing this lunacy should be sacked, and I actually think it's a shame there are not laws against people working for government pushing forced medical treatments on the public. Just who do these people think they are is what I find myself asking. Anyway, the article headlines, "Vaccine passports can be a lever to get more young people jabbed, scientists tell the government." Paper from the environmental modelling group says passes have limited impact on viral spread but can tackle vaccine complacency. What they really mean there is can force young people to get the jab when they don't want to. It says a newly released paper by the environmental modelling group shows that researchers admit that vaccine passes has a limited impact on the spread of the virus because even vaccinated people can have breakthrough infections and immunity wanes over time. However, they argue that they could be used as a policy lever to improve the number of young people being vaccinated. It goes on further down, emerging evidence shows that protection against infection wanes over time. The longer the duration since attendees' last COVID vaccination, the less indicative vaccination status could be of protection against infection. For these reasons, vaccine certification per se is likely to have a limited impact on reducing transmission at festivals. However, it should be noted the introduction of vaccine certification has been linked to increased vaccine uptake. Given higher vaccine complacency in certain groups such as youth who perceive lower risk of infection, this intervention could be an additional policy lever to increase vaccine uptake and population level immunity. Here it goes on talking about what we already know about the fully vaccinated catching and transmitting the virus, so I'm not going to continue to read through that. But it is the first time it says that the government scientists have admitted that they could be used primarily for forcing people to be vaccinated rather than to stop the spread of the virus. Obviously, that bit there really says it all when it comes to this article and the lunacy that an environmental modelling group are pushing. None of this should even be getting talked about by them. They shouldn't be doing papers on it, and I shouldn't be reading articles put out in the Telegraph about this bollocks. Obviously, it's completely bloody insane and not something that should ever happen, but let's be honest, the last couple of years have kind of shown us that it's probably likely to. This is why, as many people said, the battles are not yet over against this sort of lunacy, and they're likely going to continue until the government's gone and anyone after it that tries to push this shit is joining them out the door. Of course, I sit here saying that the SAGE environmental modelling group and all of these other tosspots involved in the last 2 years need to be bloody sacked at least, but like I've said before, you already know that and likely feel the same. So once again, don't give up on anything yet or think that we've completely won. While we might have won a few little victories so far, the battle is certainly not over to make sure this lunacy never enters this country again.